We're on live now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and if it works, it should be live direct onto Mark's Facebook page. So we're trying to share the link. So hopefully it's worked. Hopefully Karen's got it together.
I hope so, but I'm not sure. But we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
I certainly cannot do it.
Yeah. Jane's been playing with numbers, and I think we can. So this is, I mean, as everyone knows, Mark's been doing interview all about boat and GGR. And we had a funny thing yesterday, and it goes like this. We've been nattering away, and all of a sudden Mark says, "Hey, shit, your boat, this boat here," which he had a picture on Jimmy Cornell's routing thingos here, is my boat. That's a boat that I had in Tonga. And Mark says, "Hey, I think we've met." And we did in 2013 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 12. Must have been 13 or 14, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, because Jane and I hanging out in Tonga on this boat called Ice, looking for wrecks and stuff, and there was a big festival, big party up there in Davao.
Yeah.
And and it turns out he starts telling me, and then I remembered his boat. We were at the same festival talking. It's a classic. So there's all these behind the scenes and backstories to
great.
all the entrants, right?
Yeah.
And then I found out heaps about Mark in the last couple of days, because leading into the race, it's all GGR.
Busy.
Adventure, and I've got to say, and this is all about Mark. I'm not going to say too much, but. Every one of the entrants has got a story, but the big thing that impressed me about Mark from day one was you're just like me. You bounce from one adventure to the next, and I had to question. I said a few times to Jane, I don't know whether Mark's going to make it, because you were like me, I want to do this, I want to do that. You bought the boat, you sold the house to get money and all that stuff, just like I do, but then you went into the row, okay? And I know what it takes. And I just thought, anyway, what? Just how did you get into rowing? We'll go further back in a minute, but I just want to know.
Yes, well, to be honest, I wanted to do the row. Always wanted to do the row, because I met a few rowers at sea one day, and
What do you mean you met them at sea?
When I was sailing across the Atlantic,
I
saw a little boat that was rowing across, and I saw one in the marina as well, and I was always fascinated by it, just to go across the ocean on manpower, and so I was always fascinated. So I signed up for that. I bought the boat, and then when I bought the boat and I signed up, I found out about the GGR. So but I've already paid, and I've already bought the rowing boat, and I've already got that ball rolling, So so I didn't want to stop that, and
but you just had to do the GGR.
I had to do the GGR, because that was on mine. That was one that I wanted to do, and I always wanted to do the Vendée Globe. But that's a bit harder to do, and it's a lot bigger project. But when this came along, I said, this could be one I could manage and do, and became all very hard, but yes.
Okay, let's go back to the row again later on, but just to go back to the next levels, because you blew me away yesterday when you said you paid 38,000 or something for your boat. Now Mark's got a connection to Australia. You were born in Australia, and spent a lot of time in Darwin. And then you stumbled. So you're sailing. Tell me a bit about the whole connection with your adventures in Australia, because you got hit by lightning or something, didn't you?
Yeah, that was that's why I'm writing a book actually now. There's so many stories. No, but I was really I was just traveling around Australia, and I was camped along the side of the road somewhere, and this guy pulls up and he says, "Do you mind if I sit with you guys? We've got a nice place with a bit of water running." And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so he starts telling me about his brother that's sailing around the world. So I got very interested. I was actually about to go and fly around Australia in an ultralight.
Really? What year was that?
2001.
I went around in 2007 in a gyrocopter.
I was just that was my idea, and I was talking, but it's not allowed to do. But I thought I'd just land on the side of the road at fuel stations, and my girlfriend was going to drive around with fuel and stuff. But that's what I wanted to do. But anyway,
is that in a trike? You're going to use a trike or weight shift trike? Yeah. Okay.
But so I was talking to this guy, and he said, "Yeah, my brother." So I said to my girlfriend, I said, "That would be really cool if I just sail back to Holland. Not go by plane, but I sail back."
So you're already sailing?
Never sailed before. No.
Never sailed.
No, never sailed before. So I called my parents up, and 2 weeks later, or no, maybe 4 weeks later, they were in Australia. They were trying to talk me out of it, because.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, and my dad actually said quite fast after.
Had you ever played with boats or tied knots? Or
No, I never tied knots, but I always had little motorboats, and I had a little tugboat when I was 16, and that had sunk actually, that I pulled up and fixed again, stuff like that. Always been with the water, connected with the water. Always had that connection, but I never really sailed. But so I went to the fuel station the next morning, on the same night I think actually, and I bought a boat trader, and I thought I can trade a boat.
Yeah.
I can buy a boat now, and then so I went to Darwin, and but I still needed some money, and so there was the Australian Tough Man competition.
Australian Iron Man or Tough Man?
Tough Man.
Tough Man. Oh, that's all. Explain that. That's all the bloody lifting things.
No. It's boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai combined. K1 fighting.
Okay.
So I thought I'd give it a go, and I've been in the Marines, did a bit of, did quite a few fights up there. Never really been knocked out. Never won most of the fights I did. So
yeah. I
trained with a European champion a lot, and he was my sparring partner, and he was also big. So I always had to really, really watch really be careful with him, and really, train hard otherwise I'll get knocked out. So but it always went good, and so I joined the Tough Man fight, and the Tough Man, and I won.
And so what did that give you? Some money?
Yeah, they gave me money. Well, about half the boat. So that was
half. Right.
So and then I went to Cairns, and I basically drove down from Cairns to Brisbane looking for boats, and then I always, the first boat I looked at was always the best, but I never, you don't buy the first boat.
No, smart.
And then I just kept looking, and as I got along the way, I started getting more. I was getting more confident that I could do this. Meeting all the people that were sailing, if they can do it, I could do it too. But yeah, it was a pretty. So by the time I got to Brisbane, I bought a boat just south of Brisbane, Tweed Heads, and.
So that's the steely that you got.
The steel boat.
And what was he asking for it?
Yeah, somewhere around 85,000.
And you gave nothing.
Him less than half. But I promised him I'll sell the boat to Durban, and well, it was not. I said, I hope I don't, but this is all I have. I don't have any more money, but I will make sure that this boat is going to go do a circumnavigation. And
you didn't threaten to knock him out or anything?
No. I'm not like that. No, but anyway, I really. It was, but I had no idea what keyword had, what stuff. I had no idea.
So you bought the boat. How long till you set off?
It was cyclone season, so I went to Southport. So I take the boat out of the marina, but in Holland we don't have tides and stuff on the lakes, So first time I take it out of the marina, the first day I got it, because I don't have money for the marina, of course.
So you went and anchored.
I went and anchored, and but I see all these boats a mile away from the shore. I thought, I'm going to anchor right close, because that was my first experience. Yeah, and then I think this boat it's really weird. It sits really weird. The motion starts to be different, but then half an hour later I could walk 100 miles, 100 meters. Yeah, tide went down 4 meters, and that's how I started learning. And then I had all these mistakes in the Great Barrier Reef, but it was. I think it was good. I had a steel boat.
So you sailed home.
Sailed home. Yeah.
How long did that take?
18,
by yourself or?
18 months. Well, there were a few times along the trip that I took some crew because I was constantly running out of money.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to Cairns, I had no money, and the tax office gave me too much back in the previous year, and I had to pay that 1,000 euros back within 2 weeks. So I was absolutely broke. So I took 5 backpackers on the boat. I'll get them to pay, but really, really nice. We sailed from Cairns to Darwin, and when I got to Lizard Island, or a little bit past, the gearbox breaks. So I just did that whole piece sailing
without the engine.
With no engine. Doing the Great Barrier Reef is already people are pretty scared about the Great Barrier Reef.
Absolutely.
And I was doing it with no engine. Lots of times I was just dropping 70 meters of anchor chain and hoping it would grab somewhere, because there was no wind, and there's just 3 knot tides going, and currents going. But I really learned to sail that boat. I sailed a 22-ton boat straight into the marina, into a box, and the people were all really worried. But
no insurance.
No insurance now. They had no money for insurance, and stuff like that. And but I really learned how to sail the boat, and it was a great boat. And and by the time I got to So then I sailed across the Indian Ocean, and when I sailed from Mauritius to Durban, that was actually quite interesting. I got into a big storm, and there were 5 boats, and one of the boats got lost. Guy never on board anymore. Life raft gone, and but he never showed up.
So they found the boat, but not
they found
him.
the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very worried in Mauritius already, but you know, and all the boats come in with a bit of trouble, except me. But I sailed. I had 55 knots, and I just I loved it. I loved the big waves, and it was downwind. And so when I came to Durban, I said, I'm gonna do sail the whole Southern Ocean, you know.
Yeah.
So that's when I continued that trip back to Holland, and then 1 year later I set off on a non-stop round the world.
Just for the hell of it, I couldn't believe it when you told me this yesterday. I thought, you know,
Yeah.
what are you doing, and what did you do to the boat? And the timber mast, you know, the original timber mast.
Original timber mast on the boat. Yeah, well, there was not really money to do.
Did you replace the rigging?
The rigging got replaced. Yeah, that's the only thing.
And what about sails?
And I had 3 sails and the storm jibs, you know. I had nothing else. Yeah.
3 sails and a storm jib, and you're off solo non-stop round the world with an Aries.
With an Aries on the back, yeah.
Holy dooly.
Yeah, and it was great. But I had no idea what was happening. You know, I did not even take a sleeping bag because I thought I'm going to.
You didn't take a sleeping bag.
No,
what did you take? To sleep with?
Yeah, nothing. I had nothing, man. It was just it was a horrible trip. I was planning
this
to take
is very much, people won't know about this. There's a guy called Dr. David Lewis that does all Antarctica and all over the place, and he just, same deal, but it looks like you got away with it. He had all sorts of drugs.
I had my dog with me, and
the dog went.
The dog, I had a half Ridgeback, and I took that dog from Australia as well, and I took that dog on the trip.
Around the world, solo, non-stop?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a big dog, big dog, and we that was actually quite comfortable with it, you know. It was quite in the Southern Ocean.
Is the dog still around? Is it still?
She died 2 years ago.
Okay.
1.5 years ago. But she got old, She got 16, 17. So you know, But
That's
it was
amazing.
very comfortable in the Southern Ocean to kind of lay together in bed and to warm me up because I did not know I did not know anything about the Southern. So by the time I got to Cape of Good Hope, I was around 50 south, and I just kept heading south. By the time I was south.
So how long did it take you to get down? Like, how many days was the voyage? The whole trip?
So I did it with the World Speed Sailing Council. Got them to come over and So it was 169 days from the Lizard to the Lizard.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And 205 days from Holland, you know.
161. How big is the boat again?
The boat itself, the hull itself, is 46 foot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, average 6.1 knots.
That's not bad for a clunker with timber mast.
Yeah.
You know, jeez, that's amazing.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that said, you know, and that's why when I heard about the Golden Globe, I said, I want to do this. I can do this, you know. I'm good at that.
I can see where you're coming from now.
Yeah,
you know.
and but it was it was a really interesting trip, and I can tell you, I got a lot more wind on that trip. But you know, by the time I was south of New Zealand, I started seeing icebergs because I was at 58 or something, or 60 south.
Yeah.
And but I loved it, you know. I loved it. It was an excitement, and so I just kept going on that line. But I got a lot more wind on that trip. Like the storm I had in the Indian Ocean, I probably had 6 or 7 of those.
Yeah.
And I had problems with the boat, but all problems just basically like Istvan is having with the steering, with the wheel.
Yeah, his phone just rang actually. He'll be on SoundCloud. His gearbox is dying. Yeah. He's not sure whether he's going to make it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
So, but I just have the same, and that's why I said I was so happy. I had a wheel on this boat as well when I bought it.
Yeah.
Took it straight out.
Absolutely.
First thing I took out.
Yeah.
And just the tiller, and I never had any issues. And I was really happy with that.
Wow. So the sails made it. But I'm fascinated. What clothing did you take? What if you didn't have a sleeping bag?
So on the first trip there was a Musto MPX on board.
Oh yeah.
Summer gear.
When you bought the boat.
Yeah. I used that. And I used that on the way back. I used that for that trip as well.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I had no gloves as well.
No, that just reminds me. We haven't seen the gloves and the bloody things that. Sometime we're gonna have to pull them out and get a photo.
Yeah,
because I meant to do that. We decided to chat here instead of on the boat because you've seen the boat.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I mean, digressing here, your boat's a mess.
Yeah.
And I say that with respect because it tells me that the boat's a bit of a tool, and you're more focused on sailing than organisation down below.
Yeah.
It was amazing when I walked in. As soon as I looked at it, I said, "Yeah, that's Mark." You know, I can just see you're this incredible powerhouse. You're focused on driving the boat. You know, you just get that down. And I'm still driving. You know.
Yeah. Because The problem was really I had on the trip. The boat is actually really neat now compared to its sea.
I believe that. Yeah.
I could not get the sails to fit into the front hatch.
Oh yes.
And because I have so many sails, they're all stacked up on each other in my little living area, and they're always going in wet.
Yeah.
And so it was always wet. And
but at least you had a sleeping bag this time. Did you put your bag in a bivvy bag to keep it dry or something? Or?
No, it was all wet. It was wet all the way. So from the Indian Ocean, it was wet. It was wet, and
I'm starting to sound like a pussy. I tell you, because I couldn't do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, I always get everything sort of a bit organised and da.
I got one pair of socks, and the biggest problem I had really it was not my hands. I got this really nice.
Actually, your hands do look pretty good.
Yeah, but I think
don't know what you've gone through.
Because because I'm a builder and my hands get a beating all the time. They got really rough and I use them. But my feet, I went fishing years ago with a friend and one of my feet, a part of it froze.
Yeah.
And I think...
you kill the blood vessels in there and it's hard to keep it going. Yeah,
I think they were both really cold. They were cold.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were not cold anymore. So we just kept fishing, you know. And, and it was minus 27 or minus 28 degrees. But we're catching lots of fish, you know.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So,
I nearly said something else, but forget the feet.
So we just keep going. And then when I took my shoes off, they're all strange color, a little bit dark pink and or dark purple. And
the water level was below the waist, was it?
Yeah.
That's good. Crikey.
Since then I've always had the kind of quickly cold feet. So my feet were really, it was really annoying to get that cold feet the whole trip. And only having one pair of socks does not really help. So my feet were always wet and from sweat. And
how come only one pair of socks? You just forgot them.
I think there were more pair of socks on board, but because I panicked the days before I left because I see my boat is getting lower than Jean-Luc, so I want to get some stuff off.
You took too much, maybe.
Yeah, and I think in that taking off, quite a few things went off the boat that should have stayed on the boat, and a few things stayed on the boat that should have gone off the boat. It kind of got mixed around a little bit up there, but anyway, it was good.
Okay, yeah.
Made some mistakes, and priority if I ever do something like this in the Southern Ocean again, would be a good pair of socks and a good pair of inside boots, I think.
That's not a bad idea. Anyway, won't go
I remember that, really funny, I don't know why that happened, but on my previous non-sock, I had no really gear, but I took a pair of moon boots, you know.
Oh yeah.
Just
they're great.
I don't know why I took them, or just because, but I remember I had them. But they were really great because when you get inside, you put them on and your feet get warm. You know.
The floor's always wet. I had the same thing. I had boots and bits and pieces because the floor's always wet.
You can not walk on your socks.
No way. Just take me back to the rowing. You know, you're pretty honest with all your sort of, you give it out when you're being interviewed and stuff. And you've explained to me the row was really hard, right? And incredibly hard to the point of being superhuman. I was following you, and I couldn't believe how fast you were going. But just can you describe the pain? You know, like just the driving, because what I'm leading into, you say quite often, I was crying then and I was crying here, this and the other. There's two parts to that. One's the pain, the other one's the emotion. Explain the pain, if you can.
The pain is
and the drive behind that, like what you're trying to achieve.
The hardest part was when you stop rowing, I row 3 hours and then I take 1 hour off. Is once you stop rowing, when you get up, it's really like just someone is slowly stabbing a knife in your back, and in your arms. But the funny thing was, once you start rowing, after 10 minutes, that pain is gone. You know, the pain sort of goes away. So that's why in the beginning, I just rowed the first day. I think I rowed 22 hours straight, and I just didn't stop. I kept rowing while I was eating. I do keep going, but that was not really a good idea. But just getting out of bed would take me 5 to 10 minutes. Just standing up, and the pain was just amazing. But I was keeping up with these 4-person guys.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I was, and I was hearing the stories about them all being worried about me catching up. So that really made me strong. And I have some really nice footage of myself saying, Swiss Motion is 16 miles in front of me, and I just passed King Fu Cha Cha, and Swiss Motion is 16 miles. They're the next one I'm going to catch. And I was completely confident that I was going to do that, But these are 4 massive, big trained guys, And,
against one massive, big, trained, bloody giant nut.
But I think I'm probably about day 6, day 7. The pain started to slowly go away, and my body started to adapt to it. Your body is an amazing thing, and But what I love about the row, what I really is the mind game. Your whole body's saying no, but you're having this fight in your mind saying, I don't care about you. I'm gonna. It's like two persons nearly in the end, you know.
Yeah, I don't. Sounds corny or strange. I don't see you as a competitive person. I see you as a driven person to achieve. You know.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not saying
win.
the right thing. Yeah, that's it. So like I'm totally non-competitive. I've never been involved with that, but I'll face a challenge, and you want to achieve that challenge.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference there, and I can see once you focus on something, holy dooly.
I can really, that's probably the thing. I can focus on something and really keep going.
Yeah, and you're a giant. I've got another friend who do a lot of stuff in Antarctica, and she's a bit like you. She's huge, right? Yeah. As in tall, big. I got 1.25 steps for every one of her steps, and she was the fastest woman solo to the South Pole and all this, that, and the other. And you just remind me the same. So the row was just phenomenal to watch. Yeah. And so tell me, when you cry. Is it crying for pain? Is it crying for the emotion? Like, is it like? Yeah. Where's it coming from? It's obviously coming really deep.
It comes deep.
And how often? How often is this a daily thing? Or is it a release?
It was really. Well, it probably daily on the whole rowing trip.
On the rowing trip,
it was daily for sure.
Yeah.
But it was much more in the beginning.
Yeah. So is it an emotional thing, or just like?
Well, not
emotional. I mean, is it just the pain? It's too much to, or is it like you're disappointed with yourself, or is it you just where's it coming from?
Yeah, well, disappointed. Especially in the beginning, it was so hard to get away from the islands, and it was just it was. Most of it is probably pain, and a bit of it is emotional. But I think most of it is just a pain to keep going again. It was so unbelievable hard. I rode probably 17 to 18 hours a day for 30 days, 3 hours on, 1 hour off. And I just kept that going, and I kept that going. And it went really, I went as deep as probably a person could go, because I had hallucinated for a week and a half. Every hour I was seeing stuff, and I really.
You think you pushed yourself too far?
I did. Yeah. The doctor said too as well. I pushed too hard, and but it was just great, and even I think the second last day, I was getting worried that these Irish guys were going to catch me, and I'm like, they're 70 miles behind. This was maybe 4 days before I finished, and I think, they're going to catch up. I'm going to really show them that they don't have to try even, So I do a 104-mile day, so I rode basically 23 hours straight.
They'd be scratching their head and say, he's got a motor, he's got an electric motor.
Yeah, and but that was on the last days when I was really physically in bad shape, But it took a big chunk out of my body, that one, but it was just I went to a next level because of I was catching up with the four.
You go into a trance or something, or you go you just become this machine, and what's
the thing what I really found, and that I think everyone can relate to that in normal life, is what I did. First few days, I start looking at the GPS, and I have Antigua in it, 2,670 miles, and then I got row 3 hours come in, and it's only 12 miles less or something, So it's really, it's not motivating. This number is getting down very slow.
Yeah.
It's basically the same when pumping the water. If you keep looking at the bottle, you go really nuts, But if you have to really pump just for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and not look at it, because otherwise you go crazy. But then I thought, I'm going to look at just 3 hours ahead. I'm not going to look at the big number. So I actually took the whole. I disconnected the GPS because I kept looking at it otherwise. So I disconnected. I cut the antenna wire, so I couldn't use it anymore.
This is in the row,
In the row, And then I just looked at my log.
Yeah.
Because in the row we were getting routed, that's allowed. So I would get a message from Dick and John every day saying, Mark, go 4 degrees north or 4 south or 6 south or north, whatever. So there was no really need to have a GPS. Yeah. They were guiding me all the way, which is, it's not a sailing race. But anyway, so I was looking at, and then I just started looking. I reset my speed through the water every 3 hours. And I just want to do 4.5 knots in 3 hours. Yeah. Then my average drops down to 3.8, 3.7, in the 1 hour that I don't row. So that's what I do. And from that moment on, I give myself a treat after every row. But
a treat?
A treat, yeah.
What is it? The
So-
bars, Marzi bars.
No, well, the Mars bars, I was eating about 16 Mars bars and chocolate bars a day.
Oh, great. Yeah.
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 But no, it would be like some good music or a meal I really like, a phone call to my mother,
Yeah.
a phone call to my girlfriend, something like that. You know, I have a treat. But what I also started doing halfway through is I create my own misery. So I don't brush my teeth for one day, because then I know the day after I'm going to row. I can do 3 shifts of rowing, thinking about hey,
Cleaning your teeth.
I'm going to clean my teeth in a little bit of time, and I listen to really bad music for 3 hours, and it just makes me angry and aggressive. So I row hard, thinking about hey, in 3 hours I'm gonna listen to my favorite music. You know?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had all these mind games, which was really interesting in the row. I
That's a
think.
classic. All right, just do one final thing to get the row. I said to Jane when you finished, because there was only months before you had to really get on the
Yeah.
program, I said to Jane, there's no way you can do it, because I know what it sucks you dry from emotion, and not to mention I couldn't contemplate the physical side of it, and there's no way I thought you'd be there, but you kept going and you turned up at the start.
Well, there has been a few times I nearly gave up.
Well, we had some discussions, you know, we had
Yeah,
some
we had-
heart-to-hearts, and, you know,
it was just
tough.
It was
It
so
incredible.
tough. I think most of the boats that took 2 years to prepare and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
doing it all in 4 months while I was still recovering from
crazy.
the row. And there was and I can tell you one thing. I just as the moment I gave up, I met my sponsor, and he stepped in and he motivated me really big time again, and that was a big positive thing again. But it was, and they helped a lot with preparing the boat in the end, and which was really great. But it was
so much the essence of doing it. I say this to a lot of people. You know, the moment you give up, it's over. It sounds corny, because when you give up, it is over. But you just have to keep going. You know, and that's. Just...
I only was talking about you with giving up, not to anyone else.
I know that. Anyway, okay. So you take off in the start. Everyone, pretty straightforward. The big game changer, well, the big gutsy call was going to the west. Going around in the South Atlantic. I mean, you came flying into Lanzarote, which was good, and we missed you, which was bad. And then there were cameras stuffed up and all that stuff. But so that was impressive. But the big thing, everyone's watching you going around. I thought it was a good call in the beginning. I thought I'd much rather go that way. But
but I would have for sure stayed with the leaders. Where we were the 3 of us together.
Yeah.
I looked at it back a little bit as well. I could hear Jean-Luc and Philippe talking on the VHF quite a few times, so that's how close we were.
Yeah.
Right up to the Cape Verde Islands. Very nice. But all of a sudden there was a northerly wind, very light. So and I could not sail it downwind. I had to either go starboard to port. And my HF radio just didn't work anymore. So I had no idea where they actually were going, if they were going left or right. And I had a bit of a talk with Philippe, and he said he was going to go somewhere to the west, but he didn't do that in the end. I don't know. Maybe he changed his mind after.
Well, they had the big routing thing as well. They worked with the routers here up until the month before the start to give suggestions, both he and Jean-Luc, and that's probably they'd set up. I was doing this, go that way. I was doing this, go that way. But
so and I missed. I would have stayed with him, but still, I think. I did not make a bad choice.
I agree.
I think Jean-Luc was just really lucky to keep going.
Yeah.
When he got closer to Africa.
Yeah.
But it could have also gone wrong for him, I think, up there. He could have got stuck in a high.
Yeah.
Like Ada got 3 days stuck up there, because Ada was also I was in actually one of the boats from Long Route. When I was talking to him, that's the only one I met across the equator.
Oh yeah.
And he said to me, I got a message yesterday saying you're in first place. So I think, this is great. This is great. I've done the right choice and everything is good. And then my radio works when I'm probably about 10 or 15 degrees south, and I find out that I'm in 12th place.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
not a good day.
That was not a good day. And so I was really worried up there. And,
did you clean your teeth the next day?
But it was a bit of a bummer, But then I started getting Ada's position, and Ada was way in front of me and everything.
Yeah.
But he got stuck, and I just went straight around him, And so it was.
There's a whole roller coaster. We all know this sort of game. It's so long. A lot of it's weather and this, that, and the other. But you just keep driving the best you can.
I think really that the boat was pretty fast. That was a lucky thing for me, And and I can sail probably a little bit faster because I have Henk on sails and stuff on the lightweight.
Yeah.
So I did really good, but I got a bit of bad weather, light winds when I went south. But I could have also caught the westerly winds really fast, and I could have sailed straight south and gone straight past everyone, you know. But it's a gamble, and it just turned out to be better for Jean-Luc. But I think I did not lose the race up there, you know, or you know.
Well, you didn't lose the race anywhere. It's just a race, you know. But yeah, no, I agree. A lot of people say that. But, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people said to me, you lost the race.
Because really, everyone was bunched at Cape Town, really. Underneath South Africa, everyone was still within striking distance of everyone else. It's just that Jean-Luc got the corner quick. And then
but if Jean-Luc would have been 2 days later up there, he would have had a really bad ride across the Indian Ocean like we did. And it would have been a completely different story. But he just managed to squeeze and be on time, and he got a good window. Basically, same like I had in the Pacific. Uku was 5-6 days behind me, and all of a sudden I get the good wind, and it keeps going. And within 3 weeks, I'm basically 2,000-3,000 miles in front of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the way it goes.
Yeah,
you know?
too true. So the big storm with you, Gregor, and Tommy was all a bit of a nightmare for us. We're sitting there watching it. We had amazing conversations. You know, so you made a couple of safety calls and stuff. What was going on? You know, I knew you were. You know, you're right in the middle of it. You know, telling me everything you're doing, and you finally thought that you'd cracked it, get rid of the warps and stuff. But the most fascinating one was also you didn't think you were going to make it there for a while. You know?
Yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be a hard one to get through. If I look back, I made a few movies in that when I was there. I didn't even know about that actually. I just found out. But I thought I never filmed, but I did film myself. Yeah. And in those films, I'm actually saying I'm going to make it through and I'm going to fight with everything I got. But it probably was a bit of, you know, being a bit optimistic again in front of the camera, and not really, you know, being true when I was talking to you, maybe a little bit more. But it was, you know, the scariest part was that because I was in front. So we talked 3 times a day. So first I talked with Gregor and Abilesh. When we're getting into the north to northwesterly winds, and they were 4 hours of wind, and I was 150 miles in front or something. So they were actually getting the wind 5 hours or 6 hours in front of me, before me. So I speak to them and they say, I just got my mizzen mast, lost my mizzen mast, it's horrendous seas. And then I was only in 40 knot winds, you know, and not, it's still with
it's still coming.
Still free reef, staysail and a storm jib up and still running fast, you know, and really nothing to worry about. And then the next sked, we're having 3 a day, so maybe 6-7 hours later we have another sked. They don't come on the radio, you know. And that's when you really start to worry, you know, because your mates are on the radio. And Gregor really said to me, you know, he said, I'm having big trouble keeping the stern to the waves, you know, and it's really hard. And Abilesh did not say too much. He came on very short. He said his boom is. I could not even really hear him. He split his boom or broke his boom or lost his boom. I don't know what it was. He said, but we had bad reception that day or that moment, so he came on very short. But he also didn't come on, and that's when I decided to know, you know. And then the southwesterly winds were starting to come for me. And it was up to 40-50 knots, and I maybe already gusting up to 60. And then I decided to make the set call and the safety call, and you hear, you know, it's going to.
What happened here, I'll never forget it. You know, I was working there, and Gregor had already been rolled, knocked down, and then literally straight after Jane walks around the corner and says, reading the message, you know, rolled, dismasted, severe back injury, can't move. It's like, holy shit. It was pretty interesting time. Anyway, okay, so then you get to Hobart, and unfortunately I wasn't there. We were working on Loic's thing, but it was really good to see. That was a big boost for you, you know.
It was a big boost,
because I know there's a lot of things in GGR that really. Some of it's a strange effort at the time, you know. For instance, why are we doing this? But that was good to hear, you know. It was a good
I went through. You know, a lot of people think when it goes all red and purple and pink, you know, those kind of colors on the windy TI. They're going through a hard time. That is a hard time, but it's also an exciting time.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
And the time goes quick, and you're flying. The hard time for us that was for me, for Uku, for Susie, for anyone, is when it goes blue and light, and and that's when it becomes really hard because we have no autopilots, and the wind vanes. It's just a real nightmare to steer these boats.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of it goes on with hand steering. Then so you're just steering. So south of Australia, I just got 10 days of basically hardly no wind or light winds, and I just kept. I hardly slept in 10 days. It was just I'm falling asleep behind the tiller all the time. And
while you're hand steering.
While I'm hand steering. Yeah.
What wakes you up? I used to ram the bulkhead.
Yeah, I've woken up on the floor. I've woken up everywhere. It's. And then you wake up and you think, oh, this is really sore. How did that happen?
What happened? Oh, that's what I was steering.
Yeah, it's a real hard. So, but that really that's the hard part about I think the light winds.
It's an interesting point. A lot of people watch the GGR and think it's another round the world race.
Yeah,
you got to think of the ramifications, and that's a big part of it. The whole challenge of no electric autopilots and just a wind vane, which then you've got to hand steer a lot. Yeah. Not to mention the fact that it's so bloody long and all that stuff. I'm quite. I mean, everyone will have a different opinion. It's one of the toughest races in the world, if not the. I always keep thinking it's beyond comprehension to a lot of people. It's really tough.
And I get some, because we were getting private messages by the HF radio.
Yeah.
And I get these messages, and I get people saying, "Mark, enjoy the nice and calm weather," and I'm like, "This is really, I don't want to hear this. You have no idea. Right. Enjoy the calm weather.
You just want to get going.
I want 30 knots again. 35. Probably, after the storm, I would have been really nice to have a week of 15 to 20 knots.
Yeah.
But after that, once I got confident again and all good, I was dying for 40 knots. It's great.
Look, just to change the story. I mean, you're a great storyteller, and I can't imagine what the book's going to be like. Can't wait to read it. And that's the next exciting part about the GGR. Like, all of you have got stories, even though all the ones that didn't make it have got stories. Yeah. People are going to be gobsmacked when they read the fine detail and all the backstories. This is a really amazing event.
It is. Yeah. And there's lots of people now saying, maybe they not allow older pilots, should not allow. There's maybe a few rules got to be changed, but I think they got to keep the same in the basics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people said to me yesterday as well, when in the interviews, should there not be an AIS receiver as well? And I said, no, it's that's.
Like, you chop your bloody GPS off in the rowboat.
Well, if you can find a device which will say just the boat name, but I'd say it'd be great, but that device does not exist, because it is a bit of a worry with the ships. AES is a great device. It's really good. And it's safety at sea, but because of that device, people just do not answer the VHF anymore.
Yeah, they think they hear you are.
And that's a bit of a problem, but that's something we just have to cope with,
Yeah, too true.
And I find a way to get their attention is when you go on a collision course, they kind of they will call you, I found that out.
That's a good line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So okay, so we're heading across the Pacific side of the ocean. Yeah. And everything's going pretty well, and then we lose Susie. I mean, that was a bit of a nightmare for everyone, because she was doing so well. Everyone knew she had real struggles, into South Africa, and then even getting out of Hobart was a nightmare for her. That was a tough call, and then hook up in the storm and we lose her. And I know you guys were particularly close, so it hit everyone hard, but obviously...
Uku as well, eh? We were still devastated 2 weeks after, Susie was a bit quiet in the beginning, but she really came in. She really became part of the group and motivated us all.
Huge sailor, huge. She'd done so well. That was the worst of it. She was so close.
I'll never forget that. She says my wind pattern doesn't really work anymore, but if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna hand steer back to Le Sable. And there was not a doubt that she was gonna
absolutely.
stop.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's pretty brave to say stuff. And she would do it. She would do it. And to come that far, a week and a half more, and she would have been around the horn.
I know. Have you seen her press conference statement yet?
No, I tried to find it, but
fine. It's worth watching. It's quite incredible. It was a reflection on all the entrants. Everyone's got. They're all there. Everyone's there for different reasons, and it's all very personal and all that sort of stuff. But boy, she's a champion. Just right to the.
And a good sailor, a really good sailor, and she was not scared to do the work that needed to be done. She was not she would not sit inside, and she did the work that had to be done, and very able at sea. And
tell me, why did you just change subject? Why did you pick a Rustler 36? Because like you, Susie, Iku, John Luke, what was the deal?
Oh, well, there was a few reasons, because by the time I was buying my Rustler, I already knew that there were 6 or something in there.
Right, copycat routine.
No,
Keep up with the competition sort of thing.
Yeah, it would have been like well, we had 3 designs that we were going to look at,
Yeah.
I think it was the Biscay, the Rustler, and the Saga.
Yeah.
But the Rustlers are just the most, And then I just went looking. There was a few Biscays.
Yeah.
But they were all a little bit above my budget. And really,
what was the story with yours? When was it built?
It's the first one.
It's the first. Oh, that's
it's
right.
the first Rustler 36.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
hull number 000A.
Yeah. Where'd you find it?
In Scotland.
Yeah.
And because it was in a bad state, it was quite cheap. But it was good because I was
Gotta
going to rip
rebuild
off
it anyway.
everything anyway.
Yeah,
So. So
well, Rustlers are saying now that the next race will do a whole deck keel rudder bulkhead situation and rebuild it. Instead of buying an old one, strip it out and go boom, they're saying they could do a new one with all the bits and pieces. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
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 But anyway, so I got this boat, and it was actually quite good.
And your friends started coming to you, say, shit, I want to help and all that sort of stuff, or how did that come together? Like, I know it was a big team thing because you were out rowing and they're still building your boat.
They were still ripping off the teak and stuff, and there was but of course, when the last winter we had in Holland, it was awful. It kept freezing till about April, so we could not do any epoxy.
That was a problem for Ari as well. He had big problems. Yeah.
It was a nightmare, and it could not heat up the shed properly. It was just impossible to do. So that also took lots and lots of time, and it got delayed and everything. But I had in the beginning I had lots of friends just coming helping here and there, and I got the boat right to where I live.
Yeah.
But that last canal in Holland is only 1.2 meters deep. So we put lifting bags under the boat, and you should see. I was with a shovel till here in the winter, making a channel in the canal with a shovel to put the boat through, stuff like that.
Okay, so it was a desperate effort. Was there any times you had any regrets after the start? Like you're in your boat sailing, you said, "Oh bugger, I wish I had more time for this or more time for that, or I wish I had got this or got that."
Yeah, of course. I would have really liked to do a lot more training, but I was very, very fortunate with my manager Dick Koopmans.
So that's a good point. When you finish your last solo around the world in that boat, how many other boats had you been sailing in?
No, not
none. That's it. So
I did a Cows week and I did an Antigua race week, but
with Dick or something, or
no, on a Swan 60. And
that's about it.
But I was always on the grinders. They always wanted me on the grinders.
I wonder why.
and then you just pass. Everything goes past you. When you're on those grinders, you're just absolutely flat out all the time. And
you're not watching what's going on.
Yeah, not watching what's going on. And they always wanted me to pull up the spinnaker as well. I remember that.
Okay.
But besides that, it was never really any setting. I've been on a few boats because I also cruised around the world one time. Did a cruise, and I've been on a few boats, and but always with a beer in my hand or something.
Okay, so then Jean-Luc, all of a sudden, bingo, he's flipped, rolled, damaged mast, he's on his way. Everyone's all pretty cut up about that, including us. We thought, oh, geez, he's going to Chile and stuff. So he's back in the game, and then you've got the bit between your teeth. Go get him. And obviously you would have been sad about John Luke as well. But
it sounds very strange, But you can ask Christoph and the guys up there. I was always very confident I was going to catch up with him, even if he didn't. I just had a bad ride in the Indian Ocean, but I was thinking he's going to have a bad ride in the Pacific or in the South Atlantic. And I'm going to catch up with him. I saved my diesel. I think he used a bit. He would never tell me at sea, how much diesel he would have left. But I had the idea he was using up diesel to stay up front in the beginning.
Oh cool.
And I kept diesel, so I went around Cape Horn with probably still 80 liters of diesel left. And so I was pretty confident.
Well, why did you stop in the high? Because remember because I saw you go down to 2 knots, and I thought, what? He's run out. That's it. I said, he's run out of diesel.
I was just doing a second because I fell asleep in the cockpit. I fell asleep one time in the cockpit, and I remember waking up with the wheel and my tiller. I made it with a friend who has a construction company, metal, and it's a little too heavy. So if I drop it, it actually falls over. So I do start doing circles straight away.
Okay.
So I was doing circles. I don't know. I thought it was only really for 10 minutes or something, but it must have been maybe for 2 hours or something. If it was
So do you have an alarm to wake up, or you just wake up when you when you go to bed?
I had
in the bunk?
I had an alarm. I had 3 of those kitchen alarms.
Yeah.
But after the Indian Ocean storm, they're all gone.
All gone. Yeah. So just you tuned to the boat. I know how that works.
I never really had an alarm after that.
Yeah.
Which was pretty awkward with the skids on the radio, because now you always have to keep looking at your watch. But they become so important that you kind of wake up by yourself. After a while.
Yeah, that's cool. When you got just to go back, I know what happened to me when I was washed overside once, and when you fight, you get back on board, and you carry on with the job. I was putting a storm jib up at the time, and a bit like you know what you got to do. You just keep going. But at the end of all that, literally within about an hour, 2 hours, the adrenaline just goes through you, and I was contemplating what happened and how it works, and it really just completely exhausted me. You know what I mean? Like this adrenaline rush. Any moments like that for you where you physically, some shocking things happen to you, like you couldn't cope, or things happen later, you had to hit the bunk and just sort of regroup, you know what I mean? Any disasters during the race?
No, I think that adrenaline just keeps going in my body or something. I don't know what it is, but
I'm starting to see what it is, because you're just completely driven. You're focused. You don't let anything get in the way.
No, but I'm when I'm in the storm, I have some footage of that. But also the day after, probably any other person would be, just happy to survive the storm. And, and you can still see it's bad weather. I'm inside. The curtains are going, or the
all
blankets.
You're do is go fast, catch you on loop.
And I'm saying, yes. Well, I might be lucky, because Jean-Luc might get light winds for 3 days, and I might catch him a little bit. So I think that's a good thing, because it always motivated me to keep going and stuff like that. And I was that's why I would never do a trip like this on my own again, if I would do it, I'll always do it in a race or something. I've done it on my own. I know I can do that. I don't go to sea to be on my own that long. I much rather do it with a few friends or something. Or a dog. No, but I like the part of what I really like about the Golden Globe is that we were doing it together. Really, we were really.
It's an interesting thing. It makes it, to me, it puts it in perspective a bit like with Robin Knox Johnson and Sue Haley. They're completely on their own, whereas when I've only done one, it was in the BOC. It's like this, not group mentality, but it's nice to know there's others out there, and it helps you along a bit. And those conversations, like the chat sessions, just brilliant. The tougher it got, the more you laughed often. Talking on the radio, oh shit,
Someone asked me yesterday, were you staying a little bit close together for a rescue or something? And I said, no, not a chat. We were, all of us were not scared to be in the middle of nowhere, and we were not thinking, maybe I should stay a little bit close to Uku, because then we can get rescued or something. No, that was never the case. We really just went on our own, and.
So how do you relax? What do you do to relax? So don't tell me you don't relax. Like, you got to recharge your battery sometimes. What do you do?
Yes. So I made a few mistakes with that. So I didn't take enough books and stuff. But I do a bit of reading, and I make some puzzles and stuff like that. But I didn't have enough of them, of course, as well. And what I really like is when it gets really rough, and or up to when it's 20, 30 knots, I just like to sit on deck and look at. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Actually.
But I just look at the horizon and I can look for hours and hours.
It's the same. It's not dreaming. You just did. I used to do.
I don't even know
thing.
what I'm. I could not say what I'm thinking about half an hour later. But just thinking about the things, going over everything, and
I can relate to that.
And just looking at at stuff. And, But I had great times. I did. Maybe a bit crazy, but I love. Sometimes I hang by a hand about. And I was funny because Susie said to me one time, I just wanted to get away from the boat, so I just climbed up the mast. And I said, I'll do the same, but I was hanging behind the boat just to get away from the boat a little bit of time,
That's a classic. Okay. So okay, let's talk about the wind down. I can see what you're doing here, and I know you're not sleeping. That's very natural. And you're already thinking of new things, and you've got to do the book and the doco and things like that. But do you think how long is it going to take you to wind down? You know, like do you think like are you enjoying moments with your mum and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. They just left anyway, but yeah, it was great. But coming in into when I came in, we just went into this big American Chrysler, and we were sitting there with the 9 of us in this car. And all of it, there was way too many people in the car. But anyway, and we were just driving around town. And I said, just keep driving. I want to keep talking, telling stories, and I just want to be with people again,
Yeah.
And I could not stop talking. We kept going for 2 days like that, I didn't sleep for. We went
Hang on. So this was when you finished the first one.
When I came in here.
2 days. Oh yeah, I'm not driving for 2 days. Just with people. Yeah.
No. So we went to a bar and then.
Yeah.
But we just talk. I just want to talk, tell stories, laugh with my friends, and so we went from there. Then we went to the hotel. We had breakfast up there. We laughed again, and then we went to the press conference. I had not slept when I was in the press conference.
I knew that.
And then I just and this next day the same, But I'm having a bit of trouble sleeping now.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get a little bit tired, here and there, but I'll go back to sea again soon, and I'll be good. But I think I'll start to get normal again. I really have to get back to work quick, and
get back to work as in work, building work to make some money.
Yeah,
that's going to be hard.
Yes, but once I get into that,
that's your next focus.
Yeah, that will be my focus, and we have really good jobs going on and really good stuff going on. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I like my work. I have really good colleagues. We run this company with a few friends. And it is kind of my company, but they took it over when I was gone. And they run it, and it was really great. And I'm looking forward to getting back to work. And once I get back to work, I'll probably be working 12, 14 hours a day straight away.
Yeah, that's just you.
Yeah,
you can see it's not work. It's you do what you love, and it's not work.
Yeah, then by the time I get home, I'll probably be so tired because I'm going to be training again as well because.
For the next one.
Yeah, my brother's gone wild. He's got big eyes.
Wild as in he's looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's looking forward to it. Yeah, I might. Well, we're not, but I might do it. I'm not saying but there's
too early. Yeah.
I want to do the Vendée Globe. I want to do, but maybe it would be really nice to row the Atlantic again. But he's already saying no. I think I can beat you with rowing and stuff like that. So
you're meant to be rowing together, not separate.
Yeah, no, but if we push each other hard, he does not want to do any less than me, and I don't want to do any less than him,
Yeah.
So it'll be a good team,
So tell me about your family. You got brother, sister, just brother?
I have one brother and one sister, yeah.
Where was he born? In Holland?
No, he's born in Australia too.
Oh, right. Okay.
In Innisfail,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so tell me a bit more about the flying thing. Is flying a bug for you?
No.
Something you wanted to do or something?
I just took, I was in the backpackers lodge, and there was a guy there that was doing the flying as well, and I said, I would like to come. And I just went with him, and it was really good. So I took 10 lessons, and then the guy said to me, if you buy a ultralight trike, you do your exam in your own one. I learn you to teach in your own. You do your exam, but you're ready to do your exam now. And that's what was my plan was. But then in the meantime, I got the boat idea, and I sailed. I'm still gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do when I get back. Probably not this year, but maybe next year. I think I'm going to get with the parachute. With
parapod?
Yeah.
Motorised parapod.
Yeah, I think that would be
there's a very few form. Pretty simple.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I've been looking at a lot of that, but...
I need a big one, that's all.
Yeah, need a big one. I need the one that can go across the English Channel and stuff
Here we go. Because I've still got, it's funny, the number of sailors that are flyers, I'm a frustrated flyer, done all sorts of really stupid things. But I'm still not finished. There's a few things I want to do yet. I run out of time. Anyway, it's kind of funny because I know Tommy wants to fly around the world again. He wants to. That was one of his ambitions.
Yeah. I don't. You need much more papers to. Yeah. But I know there's a guy that tried to fly with one of these trike things across the Atlantic.
No, he did.
He did. Yeah. The time I saw it on Discovery, he didn't make it.
No. There's another guy that's done it since. He's gone around the world. Another one's gone around the world.
Oh, great.
But Gyrocop hasn't gone around the world yet.
But I would also like to do. I'd also like to do the Dakar Rally. That would be great.
Funny, I nearly did it once. Was that the Dakar was a real revelation for me because I've been doing adventures every 4 or 5 years, and then we did 5 years of rally car and nearly got back in by Peugeot, and we thought, geez, we worked out the Dakar how to do it in a bowler. It's like a production Dakar car that you get to do it. in the UK, but all of a sudden I realised it was going to cost a lot of money, and I was 50 at the time, and I thought, shit, I'm running out of opportunities to regroup and make more money, and it's the first time it ever happened. Prior to that, you just think, oh, it's an adventure, you just do it. You find the money, you get it going. That was a change. That was when I was 50, but anyway, life's still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I like to do it on a motorbike, but
Yeah.
it's also because it's the cheaper way to do it. And
Too many things to do, eh?
Too many things to do, and the problem is you always got to work. The working costs so much time, and
I know. There's a time versus money formula. You know. Anyway, so what are you going to tell to future GGR 22 entrants? What would you say to them? In sort of just give me a few
Yeah, I would say to get your preparation going good and sail the boat across the Atlantic or whatever. Sail the boat across an ocean first.
Yeah.
So you know what.
Well, they got to do 2,000 miles now.
Yeah.
It's interesting, a few people commenting, and the reason we didn't require it was because the original GGR was so simple, just get your boat and go. So we had this philosophy, as long as they've got 8,000 miles ocean, 2,000 miles sailing, we just let it go, because it's the colour of the GGR, you let people come, and we knew not everyone would finish, but now we've changed it because we want to get most of them around.
I think the real sailors like Are and Gregor and Abilesh, they all made it south, and they all had plenty of miles. But it's a bit of a shame for the sailors that had to stop. That stopped real like Kevin and Nabil and stuff. If they would have sailed more, I think they would have kept going. If they would have known, and it's a real shame for them because it cost them all a lot of money, and that's what
too true. I'm still amazed that you went without furling gear. And all your gear at the mast.
But I'll do it again without furling gear. It was good. There was a bit of time when I didn't really like it when I got into the Indian Ocean and just got hammered all the time. But then I started looking at the boat properly, and I think the boat sails better. There's not as much weight up there.
Everything is a trade-off on everything you do.
It really is hard to say what is better, because probably with the light winds and with a lot of squalls we had in the beginning of the Atlantic coming to Cape Town, there were so many squalls, and the squalls were so violent all the time. So it was 20 knots, and then also it would be 35 knots, and then it would be and I would be running up on deck, putting a reef in the mainsail, and stuff like that all the time.
Nightmare stuff for me.
and it's just really annoying. But to be honest, if you could. But later on, I started to get used to that, and I started to get used to knowing what to do, and I had a little bit less head sail, and then I could, ride it out. And I got really happy, especially, so in the light winds, it's probably better to have the roller further.
Yeah.
But in the strong winds, I was the happiest guy with just having, running a 50, 60 knots, just on a storm jib up front, still doing 6-7 knots. Yeah. It's great because the boat, you can feel that there's no weight up there. There's nothing. Yeah. It's really good, but you got to be prepared to go out there on the front deck and be absolutely underwater, and because it is wet. It is wet, and anyone that's going to do it, I advise take really good gloves, and because that's what you need. Yeah. But you get used to it, You get used. But the hardest part is really, I found when I went up the Atlantic, I have one massive Genoa. Yeah. To get if I'm too late, and that's probably about 99% of the time.
Too late to get it down.
Yeah, too late to Then
I'm surprised you didn't blow out more sails.
Yeah. Well, I worked hard, I worked hard, but I probably, quite often you're thinking, maybe I should put it in, and then maybe the wind's going to die a little bit in an hour again, or a little bit less. So you push through, and the big Genoa is really hard to get down. Yeah. When it ends in the water, when it gets in the water, it's a real pain. So I really, if I was too late, I would have to heave too. Yeah, yeah. And that was, then you're 5-10 minutes doing no speed. Yeah. So you love your boat, obviously. Yeah. And if you could choose a boat that's 32 to 36 foot long, about 6,000 kilo. Forget about long keel rudder, like a design of a boat. What would you, where would you be at to do this sort of trip? I would. What kind? Let's just say a 32 to 36 foot boat. That's about a solid ocean boat. What sort of
not a particular design, but you know, I'm getting to the question: do you think there's any problems to have a long keel boat with an outboard rudder and all that sort of stuff?
No, I would definitely choose a long keel boat.
Yeah.
Long keel is the way to go for this kind of trip, you know.
Yeah,
and,
especially with wind vane. You're thinking that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, you could see when I came into when I was sailing into Hobart how beautiful the boat was.
Yeah,
sailing.
they say it well. And they're solid boat. You know, we thought long and hard about the style of boat we'd use for the race, and I was convinced this was the best one to look after the entrance the most possible way.
Yeah.
But anyway, nothing's perfect. Everything's a compromise.
Yeah. Yes, and also I think, you know, when you get a wind vane, I'm very happy with my wind vane.
Yeah, Aries good.
Good Aries wind vane. But the people should really know how to pull it apart.
Absolutely.
Because I did not have time, and he actually told me, the guy told me, you know, I'll give you a course, but no, of course I had no time. I didn't even use the wind vane just to the start, you know. We only, so I didn't even know it was working when I left here, I used it a few times, a little bit in the English Channel, but it was not set up yet and properly.
Yeah.
So I think it was very good, but I had an Aries wind vane on my previous boat, so that's why I knew.
Okay, all right, we've probably run out of time.
Yeah.
It's been incredibly good for the GGR to have you involved.
Yeah.
And you know, you're the quintessential adventurer that becomes driven and competitive purely because you just got to get there.
Yeah.
You know, coming second is pretty impressive. You know, like that's one of those things. Everyone that finishes is going to be a winner. And we're thinking of Uku's out there struggling away to get here, and Istvan just told us about his gearbox problems on his steering. Tapio just got around Cape Horn, all good stuff. And hopefully Igor will get over his health problems, and we're looking forward to seeing all the others that didn't make it. Hopefully they'll all turn up at the prize giving, eh? Yeah,
I hope so too. It would be really great, and I just would like to talk with them all and give some, if they want to do it again, give them advice and help.
Yeah. That sounds good. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Yeah,
very good.
Thanks
for that, and
thanks for making it possible. To you know. It's been it's for you guys. It must have been a pretty hard time to get this.
Get this. It was as big an adventure for us as it was for you. I mean, we were living stuff 24 hours a day, exactly the same with you guys, and pretty incredible. Yeah. So I got no regrets. I mean, I missed doing the race this time. Hopefully, I'll get to do it next time. But no regrets. You know, the GGR is great. I mean, the people around the world following it, and they're just passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked, and watch this space for 22.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thanks, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
That one.